most people are basically just looking for the easiest answers possible for a ground that's solid. If people didn't have faith that the ground under them was solid, they'd be too scared to take a fucking step. So for most people, that solid ground is going to be what they want to walk on. That's why quick assumptions, quick stereotypes, quick archetypes, quick narratives from small fragments signaling a higher narrative is going to be what the human mind is going to be easily oriented towards, because that ensured our protection for thousands of fucking years. It's also why you and most people probably watching this seek the most simple answers possible. They hate nuance. That's why their answer has to be the correct answer, and the people who disagree with them are likely just demonic or just these evil people. Everybody's evil on this side and everybody's good on this side. There just can't be this substantial degree of nuance, which damn near always fucking exist on each side, because humans seek solid ground to walk on. Humans just want to walk forward, if you catch my drift. They don't want to be puzzled by the complexity around them, bro. They don't want to look around and just be like, fuck, what do I do? That hurts a lot of people. That's why most people would rather not be alone with their own thoughts and just go out and just keep experiencing life and run away from their own thoughts rather than facing them because of that high degree of complexity. Or they'll just latch on to somebody who's a perceived authority so that they can take the role of being the person who's thinking for them. That's why they need those thought leaders, if you catch my drift, because those people simplify life enough and give them a role to follow, because that's truly what they want in the first place. Had they not had that role, they'd have to create their own one or live in high degree of chaos, and they're uncomfortable with doing that. So like, I know a lot of y'all call those people NPCs, but from their perspective, I mean, they're basically just trying to live the easiest life possible. Like the world is a terrible place. Those simple type of narratives are always going to run society because of what they imply, if you catch my drift. If you just simply say the world is dangerous or the world is bad, that allows you to simplify all the complexity, all of the good, all of the bad, all of the gray, all into one small rigid ass narrative, which will allow you to move forward and essentially protect yourself from what could be. You're adopting that simple point of view because that allows you to treat the world or to navigate the world in a way which is sure of itself, if you catch my drift. You can basically be sure that the ground that you walk on is solid and you know where to go now. You can just navigate the world with this simple ass rigid narrative, such as the world is a terrible place. Let's say you just took on nuance and you basically just saw everything in its entirety. You'd be puzzled by everything around you and you might not walk the same way. But if you can then become the person who's still able to walk forward while still acknowledging the complexity in the universe, you don't know where you can go. You don't know what kind of idea you can get. You might be a crazy ass innovator. You might be somebody that's particularly special, and you might be the person who's able to help others who has to deal with these complex ass issues in the first place. Not only this, sharing a simple narrative allows you to essentially group together with people, if you catch my drift. It allows you to be a part of a group, because most people are obviously going to be a part of more simplified narratives of a complex universe or a complex situation or a complex belief system. Sharing the same narrative of somebody else allows you to essentially be a part of that group. So some people will just ignore some of the things that they see around them to just fall in line with the group that they want to be a part of. So that's willful blindness in a way, you know, cognitive dissonance. Many of us will take this disposition just to join a part of a group, because if we acknowledge the complexity, if we acknowledge nuance, that kind of separates us from the group in a way and kind of leaves us feeling left behind or too far ahead or somewhere outside of the circle that everybody else is in. That's a lot of people's point of view, but mine is more so like, if you're able to acknowledge all the nuance, you're kind of connected with everybody in a way. You're just never going to be on the exact same playing field as everybody else, because you're not going to abide by the same rules, narratives, or nigga move. My thing is, I think having nuance and just acknowledging the complexity allows you to essentially hold hands with everybody in a way. You're just never going to be on the exact same playing field as another person or as everybody else, because they're abiding by simple narratives while you're acknowledging the complexity around you, and it orients you towards the truth, which may leave you feeling isolated if you take that perspective. But I say it kind of joins you together with everybody in a way. You're just not going to share the same belief as everybody else, but you can still walk together with those people as you're able to now understand where those people are coming from. You don't have to demonize either side, so you can understand both sides and just move forward without having to have any hatred. I think hatred and contempt both just comes from just the most simplified narratives possible. If you just simplify somebody else and just say that they're just the embodiment of a negative stereotype, the embodiment of a negative archetype, these people are inherently evil, these people are bad, the most simplified narratives possible allow you to essentially demonize somebody else. And it also allows you to protect your ego in a way, because if you don't allow yourself to see these people in this fucking simplified way, then you're going to have to treat every individual differently. You're going to have to actually see what people are talking about. You're going to have to actually acknowledge that you might be wrong. You're going to actually have to acknowledge that the other side's point of view might be better than yours in certain facets. You might have to actually acknowledge that you might not be right in every fucking instance. You might have to acknowledge that the thought leaders that you look up to aren't always right, and that the thought leaders on the other side might be just is smart, and that maybe both sides are wrong also. You might just have to deal with the complexity and navigate the world while acknowledging that you don't know everything. You don't have to just be full-on Socrates like some goofy nigga. But what you could do is just learn as you go along and not have to just simplify everything into its most rigid version of itself. I think hatred just stems from just viewing people in their most simplified forms. Let's say, oh, this person's a this or this person's a that. Not acknowledging how that person became like that in the first place, not acknowledging why that person did it, but taking the most simplified narrative so you can just easily put that person in a certain category in your head so you don't have to actually process what that person truly is. You can essentially just walk right by him. Oh, this person's to this person's to that, this person's to this person's to that. I'm not sure if y'all have noticed this, but the people who have those beliefs that like all men are this or all bitches are this, these bitches, all these girls are all this, you know, those people sound hella confident, and those people can essentially walk fast as shit symbolically because they've then categorized everybody into simple narratives and that the world is just a simple place. And by believing that, it allows them to move forward fast. Also, my other issue with simple categories gives people the illusion of choice in a way. If you give somebody two pathways and say, hey, choose where you want to go, did they really make the choice, or did you just simply give them two choices that they could possibly make and they just took the road that they found the most favorable out of the two? But did they really choose for themselves, or did somebody already choose the road that they mapped out for them and they just chose that mapped out version or that mapped out road and believed themselves to be entirely free while not having the freedom to take this road, this road, this road, this road, this road, this road, but only the two rigid roads out there in front of them, so they can look at these two different roads as if they're the only ways to a specific place, if you catch my drift. That's giving somebody the illusion of choice.